I'm Kathy. This happened when I was 19. I was living with my parents in a town in northern Ohio. The back of our yard ran right up against trees. From my bedroom window upstairs, you could see where the grass stopped and the woods started, like a solid wall of green in the summer. My parents both worked during the day. I was taking a semester off from community college, so I was home most days alone. Usually I'd help with laundry, cook, or watch Netflix. We had a golden retriever named Bailey who'd sit by the sliding glass door and stare outside for hours. The house was quiet, and I actually liked that most of the time. It was a Wednesday. My mom had her late shift that day and wouldn't be home until around 7. Dad usually got home around 5:30. It was cloudy that morning, kind of that dull gray sky that looks like it's about to rain but never does. I was wearing pajama pants, a hoodie, and had my hair up in a messy bun. I made eggs and toast and spent most of the morning watching a show on my laptop in the living room. Around 1 in the afternoon, I let Bailey out into the backyard. She ran toward the fence, barking at something like she always did, a squirrel or one of the neighbor's cats. I stood at the glass door waiting for her to finish sniffing around. While I was looking out there, I saw someone walking behind the tree line. Just a figure moving slowly from left to right. I thought it was Martin, the older man who lived behind us, because he sometimes cut through our backwoods to get to his shed. But something felt off. The person was wearing all dark clothes and had their hood up, even though it wasn't cold. I was squinting, trying to make out what they were doing. They weren't walking on the path, just drifting through the trees, kind of stopping every few feet. I opened the door halfway to call Bailey in, but when she came running back, I looked up again, and the person was gone. I told myself it was a neighbor or someone cutting through, even though no one really did that there. I closed the blinds halfway after that. About half an hour later, I went upstairs to fold laundry in my room. The upstairs hallway had 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Mine was at the far end, facing the backyard. While I was folding a sweatshirt on my bed, I caught a flash of movement through the corner of my window, like someone running. I looked outside, but no one was there. The backyard looked the same as always, the swing hanging still, the grass a little overgrown. Bailey was sleeping downstairs, so it wasn't her. I brushed it off and turned back to what I was doing, but then I started to hear sounds from somewhere downstairs. I paused, listened, and didn't hear anything else. I grabbed my phone and called my mom, mostly because I didn't want to be alone if something weird was happening. She picked up right away, and I told her I thought I saw someone outside earlier, and it made me uneasy. She told me to make sure the doors were locked and said she'd try to come home early if she could. After that call, I checked all the doors, front, back, and the one leading to the garage. Everything was locked. I went back to the living room and sat down in the recliner with my laptop again, trying to distract myself. A few minutes later, I got up to grab a drink from the kitchen, and when I came back, the recliner, the one I had just been sitting in, was turned slightly away from the TV. I know that sounds small, but it immediately stood out to me because I'd been sitting in it not even a minute before. I hadn't bumped it or anything. It was just turned, like someone had been standing there and moved it a little. At first, I laughed nervously and checked if Bailey had brushed against it, but she was still lying by the door, asleep. I even moved the chair back the way it was and stood there for a few seconds, staring at it, half expecting it to move again. Around 3, it's hard to explain, but the house just felt wrong, like when you walk into a room and someone was just talking about you. I kept hearing random small sounds from upstairs, but when I'd stop and listen, it would go quiet again. I decided to just wait in my bedroom until my parents got home. I grabbed a granola bar, filled Bailey's bowl, and headed upstairs. When I opened my bedroom door, the thing that hit me was the smell. It was disgusting, like something spoiled. I remember covering my nose because it was that bad. I turned on the light, and there on my carpet were what looked like rotten eggs and pieces of raw meat. Some of it looked like it had been sitting out for days. It was slimy, brownish, and had maggots on one of the pieces. The smell was so strong it made my eyes water. I said out loud, "What the hell?" like someone could hear me. I had no idea where it came from. We didn't have anything like that in the house, and I'd been downstairs the whole time. I ran back down, called my mom again, and told her what I found. She told me to get out of the house right now and wait outside with Bailey, so I did. I sat on the front with the dog for about 20 minutes until my dad pulled up. He went in first, told me to stay outside. I remember hearing him open doors and walk around upstairs. Then my mom got home. After a few minutes, my dad came down holding one of the rotten eggshells in a paper towel, saying he found it scattered across the carpet and my desk. He asked if I'd brought anything upstairs earlier, and I told him no. We called the police after that, just to be safe. The officers arrived, and 2 of them went inside to check things out, while another asked me questions on the porch. He was cool but skeptical, asking things like if I had any friends over earlier, or if maybe a prank was involved. When they came back down, officers said it didn't look like a break-in. All the windows were locked from the inside. There weren't any signs of forced entry, no muddy footprints. They bagged up a few of the rotten pieces as evidence. The officer told my parents that it might have been some kind of prank, someone slipping in when the door was unlocked earlier, though I was sure I'd locked everything. After they left, my dad changed the locks that same night and installed a new security light near the back door. For a few days after that, I wouldn't stay in the house alone. This part's so weird. A few nights later, my mom was doing laundry and found a rotten banana peel inside the dryer. The dryer that we had both used that same morning. We couldn't explain that at all. We went through the whole house. No one could have been living in there. It wasn't that kind of house. We had the security light, new locks. It's been years now, and nothing like that ever happened again. Someone had to put that stuff in my room. Someone had to move the chair. Someone was walking in the woods behind our house, and the police never figured out who. I could tell my dad was disturbed by it. He didn't want to call the police again because, as he put it, they can't do anything without proof. After that, he trimmed all the trees near the house and put in new motion lights on every corner. I moved out about a year later when I started school again. It's so strange and creepy. Even though nothing ever happened again, my mom still refuses to open the blinds all the way in that house. My dad says it's just stray animals getting into stuff, but I don't think so. Whoever it was, they never made a sound. That's the part that bothers me the most. Not knowing how long they'd been in there or what else they might have done that we never noticed. I wonder if the person walking through the woods that day even knew me, or if I was just some random house they decided to mess with. Maybe they got a kick out of knowing how much it scared me. Whoever it was, they were already inside when I saw them out there. That thought still keeps me up.